Hello everyone and welcome back to Stationeers. Last episode, we finished off our starting atmospheric setup. Got that all wired up. Just head outside. Gonna switch out our battery in our suit. But here we go, we have this all set up. It is running and we are storing our various gases in our gas tanks. So there is still a little bit of work to do with this. We have to set up tank fillers and all of those things so we can actually get our oxygen tanks and portable oxygen tanks, nitrogen tanks, gas mixing, and all of that set up. But for now, this is quite a good starting setup. We're just going to actually turn this vent back on. Pipe network pressure. Yeah, we can continue pressurizing this tank, and we'll keep collecting oxygen and other gases into our pipe network. These each should be running, slowly building up pressure, building up their quantity of oxygen. Do have quite a bit more CO2 stored up. And a bit nitrogen. That's because most of our atmosphere is CO2, so that does kind of make sense. Back off. Should also probably come up with a way of venting excess pressure in the event we collect a little too much of any one specific gas type. But for now, pressures aren't getting to a concerning level, although if some of that liquid does evaporate, it's probably going to spike up the pressure quite a bit. Which it might start to do here, because we're getting quite a bit of liquid stored. Pressure is rising. We do have some stored in here too, so it's going to have to work its way through what's in the tank. But yeah, these should be fine for a while. Let's actually just look at the small tank. The info on this. Not really. Well, I don't know what pressure it'll blow up at, but I guess we'll find out if it decides to. Though we have evaporated most of the CO2 in the tank, so I'm not as concerned with that at this point. But we'll continue to let this run, process through some of the oxygen that we have left over. So that's really what we're after in this case. We can also collect oxygen from the ices that we have around in some mining. But we'll get to that if I'll take care of the mining off camera. We can continue to set this up with some tank fillers and get that all ready to go. So that's probably going to be our hydraulic pipe bender, which we still have all our materials in. And we're going to look for gas, utility gas. Here we go. We're going to want 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we'll stick with We'll do 4 for now. Still got plenty of iron kicking around. Let's see if there's any more we can stick in the arc furnace and copper. Keep this processing. And we'll need something to mount all these up on, so let's grab our iron walls. Turn this off. Did we just turn it on? Now it's off. Last one. There we go. Down over here. Let's see. How do we want to position these? Probably just like this. Might have to move our valves as well, but we will get to that in a moment, and we'll need some more pipes. Always more pipes. I don't think I have any stored up, so put that away for now and start making some more. Yeah. So for our gas fill ports, we are going to want these set up the right way up, preferably. There we go. We'll put these right. Put them right here on the edge for now. And of course I put it upside down. Oops. Now we have the ability to fill those up. Grab pipes. Be enough for now. Yeah, we just have a couple. We will still need more, so not terribly concerned with making a few extra. So for these tank fills, I probably should have moved them up one at least. I want to be able to pressurize with a pump into them and toggle, because I also want to have a portable tank fill port. So let's actually pop these off the wall. Perhaps we should have actually moved them over on the other side, but we'll give it a try for now. Or we could just move the valves up and then plumb whatever we need to. Yeah, I think we're going to just do that. I think that's probably a better idea. Did kind of want the isolation valves for this, so we could just branch off at this point and then put another isolation valve. Oh, no, we can't backfeed through that, so this is fine. This is just an isolation valve for the tank, and then we'll do all of our other plumbing on this side of the valve. So let's set up our oxygen one first. This is our oxygen one. So we are going to want a valve. We can't put a valve directly into that, so we'll put a valve down here. And then plumb that in. We're going to need some volume pumps. I want to try one of these setups first, and then we can try it elsewhere as well. And then we'll do a pipe meter as well, just to keep an eye on everything. Alright. Volume pump. This way. Wrench so we can attach in some extra plumbing here. Alright. Then, yeah, we are a little short on oxygen, so let's actually give this a try now. Let's make another tank, because we'll need an extra one. Gas canister. It's good to have an extra one. I guess I don't technically need it. Eventually I'll get paint and can paint these things. Nice pretty colors. We'll need our wires. Get this wired in. So, moment of truth. Test. See if our atmospheric setup actually functions and can keep us alive. Let's open up this valve. So we've got, in this pipe network, 19 kilopascals of oxygen and total capacity of about 40 liters. It's quite cold oxygen. And in this tank we have nothing. We are open. We're going to pump 5 liters in, and we are putting pressure into the pump, into the tank. It's rather slow, so let's just dial that up. 22 kilopascals. We are hoping to be in the megapascals range, really, for this to be our next suit oxygen supply. Let's see how we're doing in the pipe. About 9 kilopascals in the pipe, but that's also the pressure in this tank. And the way pressure kind of works is that the more pressure we have in the tank, or since the tank is a larger volume, it can be at a lower pressure while still pressurizing this to a higher pressure because we have a pump. I go up a little bit higher. I guess I'm going to have to run around and see how my tank is doing. Maybe these walls weren't the best setup. So we have quite a bit of pressure in the tank still as well. Vent is open. We are slowly pressurizing it. Ideally, we wouldn't need this pump because we'd have enough pressure in our pressure tank, but I think it's good to have one nonetheless. Now we have more pressure in this tank than we have in our oxygen tank right now, so we're at least good there. Still not much pressure, but it is slowly getting there. Seven point 7.7 moles of oxygen in the tank. Seems like it's doing well. Now we have to figure out where we want to put our...
air tank critical.
Yeah, I know, I'm working on it. I guess this will be kind of a race against time here, because I'd like to get this up to an actually decent pressure. I guess we could use the last of what's in our internal tank, and then figure out how we're going to repressurize that as well. Get on inside. So thank you everyone who's commented and liked and subscribed in this series so far. This is my first really YouTube series, so I've been enjoying it pretty handily, and it seems like you guys are as well, so just thank you for the support. I wasn't really sure how well it was going to do, and it seems like it's doing great. So if you are enjoying and still watching up to this point, please leave a like and a subscribe, and I would appreciate it greatly. And thank you again to those who have already done that. Looks like our potatoes are also ready to harvest. So I'm going to grab my water bottle, top off my water, and harvest some potatoes while we're in here. Get some more potato seeds. That's all we got. Combine that with our existing potato seeds and harvest our potatoes. An actual food source. Huzzah. Let's replant our potatoes in here and combine our stack of potatoes. Or did that just damage all of the potatoes? Well, I guess we'll make some baked potatoes real quick. Bowl of potato. Become baked potato. Excellent. Eat this one while we're here. Because yes, a bowl of potato will become a baked potato. That's how this works. It's science. Trust me. We will store our baked potatoes in a cabinet sideways. Science. Also, our power is concerningly low. Actually, that's probably a problem. I should probably do something about that. Problems. As the base grows, so does the problems. Let's actually go check on that. These will be fine for a little longer. I will probably forget about them, and they will just completely decay in there. But that's why we have more potatoes. Alright. Yeah, that's... Glad we noticed that through the window. That's probably not much power left. Luckily, we still have some more coal in here, so we can just charge them up. I'd like to get a better solar setup going so that we don't have to rely so heavily on coal for power. So not only is it inefficient, it's also annoying. Alright, our pressure is continuing to increase. Very slowly, mind you, but we're getting there. Our tank just has oxygen in it. Let's see how our big tank is doing. We've pulled a good amount of gas out of here. We still have 29 moles left in here, though. And more the weight or molecular weight of gas matters more than the pressure at this moment, because we are using a pump to move it. So we have put 20 moles or 19.2 moles into this tank already. But the pressure is dependent on the temperature. Temperature is low, so the pressure is also going to be lower. If we were to heat this gas up, it would increase in pressure greatly. Gas science. It's pretty cool. But yes, I did say we were going to figure out how we're going to wire up, or plumb in, I guess not wire up, the portable oxygen tank. So we're going to need a tank.
Power low.
What is it called? An airlock kit? I've never seen that before, I don't think. Basic chutes, atmospherics, digital valve, drinking fountain. Oh, that'd probably be pretty convenient. Anchor door, ice pressure, portable tank. I have to play with these phase change devices. Perhaps I'll jump into a creative world and mess with those at some point to see how they work. Portables connector. That's what it's called. Luckily, this won't be as big of an issue on some of the other builds, but over here, we don't actually have enough room for a valve. Well, I think that's actually fine, because we can... This serves as a valve when it's not in use, I'm pretty sure. So if we close this valve, we'll pressurize this tank. If we don't have a tank in here, we'll pressurize that tank. I think that's just how this is going to have to work. It's a little unfortunate, but I think it's what we got. I don't really want to rework all the plumbing I've already done. And I'm going to say that, and then I'm going to immediately be like, well, how could I change this? Because I wanted to leave this space open for data port and for liquid piping, because we will need to do the liquid setup at some point too. It's going to be fine. It'll be fine for now. Everything's fine in the starter base. Oh, it also does tell us just in the info what the pressure is. Okay. Let's pull out our tablet and see how we're doing with everything. So in our holding tank, so our input tank, we have very little oxygen left. A whole bunch of CO2 and a bit of nitrogen. In our oxygen tank, we still have about another 20 moles of oxygen. In our CO2 tank, we have a whole bunch of CO2. A lot of liquid CO2 too, which is kind of interesting. I guess this is at very high pressure, or not really. Well, at 1.18 megapascals is pretty decently high pressure. Nitrogen, we have a decent amount of nitrogen. So nitrogen is what we use as our jetpack propellant, so it's good to be collecting this. And we still have no volatiles, because we haven't put any volatiles ice into there. I guess I did have a bit in my ice mining belts. Let's see. Just full of ores, various types. Let's grab this and throw it into a machine before we lose it. And we'll smelt up some more gold, because gold's always useful. It's in the other one. Yeah, we do have some ice. So we can dump some ice in our ice crusher as well to supplement this process. So that's some oxide. Uh-oh. I think we need more power. So this is consuming 1300 watts through the transformer. And this is consuming about 1000 watts. So we are starting to use a pretty decent amount of power. Yeah, that needs 1300 watts to keep everything alive. We might need a little more than that, in fact. Once all the gas processing systems kick in, because they use more. Oh, 1000 watts. You are hungry. Let's actually take a look at that. Network analyzer. Yeah. Two kilowatts in demand, potentially. Or, no, we have 2 kilowatts of potential supply. And right now we require 1.3, 1.4, 1.3. It looks like this is taking a decent amount of power. My atmospherics analyzer back in there. Interesting. But yeah, now we're starting to put some volatiles in there. One important thing, since we are mixing all these gases together in this holding tank, is to make sure this never gets a spark, because volatiles, oxygen, that's all the stuff you need for a real fun time. But we should now be seeing some volatiles in here. Very nice. And out this side. And obviously this is just our atmospheric, our world. But we are, theoretically, yeah, those are all those pollutants building up, venting them back to atmosphere. I'm not really sure if there's a reason, a good reason for me to want to collect pollutants. I don't think there is, but I can always be wrong. Did I connect this correctly? Nope, I didn't. Well, I'm glad I figured that out now. I'm gonna have to rerun this pipe. Belt that. It's away for now.
Air tank low.
Yes, I know, game. I'm aware that my air is low. We are trying to fix this. Ooh, we have a decent amount of pressure. Actually, we have 7.2 megapascals, or 7.9. Is our oxygen problem being resolved? We did just dump a whole bunch of oxide into the system, so we got probably quite a bit of oxygen. Ooh, yes, we do. We have 8.18, 8.19 megapascals. Let's see how much we've got in our tank. Oh yeah, that's a good amount of oxygen. This shows that, right, so the world is primarily CO2. So the atmosphere on Mars is mostly CO2 with a little bit of nitrogen, even less oxygen. So while we can just draw in atmospheric gases, one of the convenient things about Mars, it works in a pinch, but you get so much less oxygen for the amount of CO2 that you get. So it's pretty worth it to actually go mine oxide, because then you get a lot of oxygen and it's pure as well. So technically you don't even need this filtering setup. If you build or it might not be entirely pure anymore. Or it may have never been. I'm not an expert in this game as much as I am making a series on it. I don't know everything about it. I don't think it's pure, but it's pure enough, I believe, that you can use it. But yeah, now we have quite a bit of volatiles, decent amount of nitrogen, a whole bunch of CO2, and a decent amount of oxygen. And we still have so much CO2 to process. Well, actually not so much. A decent amount. But we have a whole bunch more O2 in here as well. Go over to our O2 system. I think these like a higher pressure on the inputs than they're getting. So we may need to add a pump to this system as well to really force the gases in here. Because we're at 114 kilopascals in the holding tank, which means this whole network should be at, you know, well, it's at zero pressure technically, because these are pulling all of the gases through. And then this pipe is at 56 kilopascals, 1.21 megapascals, 72 kilopascals, and 197 kilopascals. So we effectively have no back pressure on all of these, which I think absolutely destroys the efficiency of those systems. So perhaps a pump would be advantageous. But nonetheless, we have a gas canister. Uh-oh. Let's turn this off. That's not great. Let's run away with this. This is a bomb. Yeah, that was a bomb. Oh, something exciting has happened. That worked really well. Maybe we can use this as mining explosives. Okay. That's something to make note of. Pressure tanks explode really well. Hopefully these don't, because that was a lot bigger of an explosion, and those are a lot bigger of tanks. Remember how I said we should probably make overpressure valves? I think that's jumped up the priorities list a little bit. So, 10 megapascals, noted, is too much. Oh, that was almost very bad. If I hadn't noticed that that was in there, or that it was starting to become damaged, that would have blown up all of that, which might have set off. Let's not do that again. Safety. It's important in space. Hey, at least I got something shortsworthy now. That's fun. Let's drag this outside. See if we pressurize this tank instead. Oh. Leave the valve output on. Genius. I wonder what that put our interior pressure at. 71 kilopascals. Actually not terrible. Okay. Tank is closed now. Data disk is still stuck in there. We're going to have to make another one of those sooner than later, I suspect. Alright. Bolt you down. Alright, that's alleviated a lot of pressure from that pipe system. We can turn that on again and continue to pressurize this tank. Oof. Well, that was close. Let's make another oxygen tank now. I still need to fill up my suit air, even though we just blew most of our oxygen literally up.
Air tank critical.
Yeah, I know. Gas canister. Alright. Attempt number 2. Hopefully with less explosions this time. On about 2 megapascals is, I think, what the target is here, or whenever my main air tank or normal air tank starts to get below what I'd like it to be at, which it already is, but it'd still go lower. That was a little bit of excitement. I think that might be as good as we're going to get for now. Yep. We had 0 pressure
Power
left.
critical.
And our power's off. Close out. How's our batteries looking? We've spent the rest of the coal that we had in there, and we charged those a decent amount of the way. Oh, they have... Oh, these are dead filters. Never mind. Need to make a recycler to reclaim those. There's some more coal in here. Charge this up a bit more. Solar power. Future project. I just want to grab a little more oxides, because and before we do that, let's actually not temp fade. Let's make the overpressure system. Back pressure regulator. I think this is the one we need. Back pressure regulator. Pressure valve. Purge valve. Pressure valve and purge valves are... Okay. Purge valve is to get gas out of a liquid system. Pressure valve is to pressurize a liquid system. Back pressure regulator, I believe, keeps a gas in the system until it reaches a point, and then it vents or lets things out. Then pressure regulator only lets so much pressure through. Realistically, if we were doing this properly, we'd put one of these here, and then that would stop our tank from overpressurizing. We'll move these to somewhere more accessible. I think I'd like to maybe bump this one forward so it's like right on the line here so you can get to it. Or, well, actually I'm just going to make a drop-off point and it'll plumb into here automatically. But I'd like to make like a more convenient gas filling station and then pressurize that, leave all this unpressurized. Or, I don't know, we'll see. Probably never will change this. You know, the best solution is temporary solution that works. But what we need to do is create a vent stack that we can dump all of our overpressurized tanks somewhere more safe. These require, I don't believe these require power, they just require a data line. So we'll put this, since we're doing this kind of piping down here, we'll put this here. I don't want it right here because I want to be able to do some stuff up here still. So we'll put it here. This will be where we locate our back pressure regulators. Oh no, that's just a pressure regulator. That's not what I wanted. Hand drill required. That's the wonder. All right. Oops. Back pressure regulator. See if the manual has anything to say about these. Unlike pressure regulator, it closes when the input exceeds a given pressure. The back pressure regulator opens when the input exceeds a reach pressure. So this is what you're looking for. This will let us essentially... Oh, this might actually need power. Well, good to know that if our power goes out, so do our safety systems. Safety. But this will open when it reaches pressure, which means if this tank is at risk of exploding, we can vent it before things go kaboom. Probably. Although I still don't actually know what these tanks' max pressure value is. Let's just make some guesses. Because that's not concerning whatsoever. I want it on this side of the valve because if the tank thermally pressurizes itself, I don't want that to cause an explosion. Do you require power? Oops, that's the wrong one. Yeah, it does require power. Alright. Grab our wires. And our wire snips. It's going to be mighty inconvenient to wire in. Do we do the cheese wiring? How much spaghetti are we okay with? Much spaghetti, acceptable amount of spaghetti. And spaghetti is fine. I've made the executive decision. We're going full Uggo with this build.
Hydration critical.
Yeah, you're fine. Okay. Not because we don't have anything to vent to right now, so let's grab this. Now, we could make a nice vent stack and go put it somewhere else, but for now, I think we're just going to put a pipe and then go grab another one of these pipe caps. Pipe cowls. Because they're cheap and really easy to use. Instead of having to dump stuff out of passive vents all the time. So now, hopefully we're not just absolutely dumping all of our oxygen out into the atmosphere. Probably would have been good to check. Oh, are you dead too? Yeah, you are. And luckily we have some extra batteries here. You get a large battery now. Alright, what's the pressure at? It's 26 kilopascals. Let's set you to... Let's go with 4 MPa. Lots of clicking later. I turn that on, didn't do anything. That now should be a safe system. Probably figure out what the actual pressure limit is in one of these tanks.
Air tank low.
Oh, come on. Oh, we have a decent amount of pressure in there for once. We have no safing system for this. This we just have to be a little bit manually careful with. We should probably put a pressure regulator before that. Because this can hold much more pressure than that can. But for now, we're just going to turn off the pump. This safes this. We'll repeat this setup a few more times. I'm not going to make you sit through all of that. But I think that'll be a decent episode. We have the ability to fill gas tanks. Okay, since I'm going to... Everything's upset. But I did learn something from the comments. Thank you to you commenters who teach me about the games that I play. You can just open it from your suit. I can just constantly be dumping this. I don't even need to have it closed. But we'll close it real quick. Excellent. Yeah. We're going to just real quick fix this, and then I will replicate it. Hopefully a pressure regulator can go between those two. If not, we'll just move the pipe up once. It's probably going to require more wiring. Give yourself more space than you think you need. These builds get large quickly. It definitely requires more wiring. And can't be placed there. Excellent. Yeah, I still want it to be accessible from this side, as much as that pains me to have to actually do. I think we're going to put pipe meter. There's nowhere to put the pipe meter. We'll still put it here. And we need to get the wiring done before my guy dies of thirst. What should we name our little station? Did I? Didn't know you could do that either. I'm learning all kinds of things today. You can just dump stuff straight into your tool bags. Well, that's not going to work. Alright, well, I guess we will lose the pipe meter, because it's not going to play nice. We can put this on just the main pipe. Gotta be fine. Set this to... Yeah, right now, 1200. That was starting to explode at like 2 megapascals. So let's put that there. Where did my canister go? Oh, there it is. Just blends in. So you should only let it go up to 1750. 9. We just not have... Oh. Oh, we don't. Let's pump a little bit more in. If we have any more to pump in. Want this to be done. Hey, 1750, and it shouldn't go any above that. So that should be a safe pressure to hold our gas tanks at. We'll get better gas tanks eventually that we can put at higher pressures. But this guy can take much more pressure, so we'll let him continue to pressurize. And we can use it elsewhere. Eventually we'll also just plumb this directly into our main little hab so that we can have pressurized gas in our home. Let's go drink some water, and then I will replicate this setup down the line so we can have gas pressurization and gas tanks everywhere. But first, water. And I will see you all. I get my data. I can get my data disk. I have reacquired the data disk. Thank goodness. Let's grab our water. Or I die due to my own insanity. It needs 5. Well, I'll replicate that out, and you'll see that all in the next episode. But for now, we can grow potatoes at night even. As long as our power supply is going to be fine. Oh, it's going to be fine. You're still going pretty okay. We'll have to figure out water. That's our... Water should be our last sustainment thing. Right now, we have oxygen. We have power. We have food. And we just need water. Once we have that, we'll have everything we need to sustain ourselves on Mars. We can continue to build the space out to be even better. This little room's getting annoying. I don't want to be in here much longer. I want bigger spaces, enclosed manufactories, the ability to not wear the suit everywhere and have lights so you can all see. But anyway, I thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.